Okay, so you've got your Dodge M37 Power Wagon, even on up through your CCKW, M35, whatever it might be. The military ran what some of you refer to as a two-piece rim. And this is what you might think of when I say a two-piece rim. You have a locking ring, which has a little indent right here that locks into the rim right in here. This type of a rim uses a flap and an inner tube. It's called a Bud design. Bud was the original manufacturer of these rims, and they worked out well in the 1940s for the technology that they were. You may have seen other manufacturers selling a two-piece rim like we have, but what they do is they use the original center out of the Bud rim to make those. One thing to keep in mind is right in here, this metal is very thin, and it's 60 plus years old of being on the truck, bouncing down the road, and quite often you will get cracks that form right in through here. See, a Bud rim was also used to dual a vehicle out. So it is chamfered on both the inside and the outside edges, which really makes this metal thin in here. It does help with centering your rim on the vehicle because the lug nut is tapered to match the taper here in the rim. However, it's a weak point. The new production rims are only chamfered on one side because you're not going to dual those out. The hub hole right here is tightened up to make sure, again, that you get a tighter fit on your vehicle, and it adds some material here. The original rim is about 3/16 of an inch thick, where the new rim is 3/8 of an inch thick. So we've already doubled the thickness of the material and increased the thickness of the material between the hub and the lug hole, so the chances for cracking over time are greatly reduced. Assembling this rim, it's known as a widowmaker for a reason. If you don't have this locking ring, which you can see is already sprung up, this is how they are made. If you don't have this locking ring on here perfectly, and you're airing up the inner tube inside the tire, this ring will blow and it will take you with it. Search YouTube, Widowmaker rim, and you will see page upon page of video for this type of a two-piece rim. What we mean when we say two-piece rim is right here. There are studs. You may have found these very similar to the old combat rim that would have been found on half tracks in some of the M37 type vehicles. However, no need for an inner tube with these rims. You have an O-ring right here that seals the gap between the two halves. You simply drop your tire on, put your O-ring in place, take your rim, your top half of the rim, drop it on, and put in the 12 or 24 bolts, depending on which model you have. Tighten those down, air the tire up, and you're back on the road. There's no tube, there's no need to fear the tire blowing off of the rim because you have a standard height bead and no ring that's going to unspring and fly off because it's bolted down. That is the main difference in our version of a two-piece rim versus the original two-piece rim that's on your vehicle now.